The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. I'm your host, Andy MacNeil. I'm here on weekdays to provide NHL projections, betting advice, and strategies to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. This show is sponsored by NorthStar Bet, which is now available across Canada. I'll be using NorthStar Bet's odds on this show. They offer early odds on the next day's NHL games and a whole lot more. So check them out via the link in the description below. Now, if you enjoy the show, please like this video and subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel if you have not already. On today's show, I'll be running through Friday's games quickly and taking a look ahead to Saturday's early NHL odds. I'm going to leave Sunday alone for now because it's so far out, but if I add anything else to my betting card for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or if I see anything that I like for Monday over the weekend, I'll let you guys know on Twitter at Digital Gambler. For now, here's a schedule breakdown. If you've been here before, you know what you're looking at. The rest column tells you how many days rest teams have across the league. The load column gives you a little bit more context, tells you whether a team is playing 3 games in 4 nights or 4 games in 6 nights, 2 games in 2 nights, etc. And you see the entire schedule for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So much hockey to get to this weekend, but we'll get into it. On Thursday's show, I locked in Washington plus 175. Plus 165, for 0.75 units, and Philadelphia at plus 112 for 1 unit. The Flyers, they're now minus 110 after it was confirmed that Carter Hart will be back in goal on Friday against the Ducks, which means they're no longer a good bet at that price. Similarly, the Capitals, they were plus 165. Now they're plus 148 at NorthStar Bet, which is exactly where the model says they should be. Washington, they're a bit banged up, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that their young players are getting reps in place of some washed up veterans. Aside from that, I'm going to add the Florida Panthers here at plus 112 on the money line to beat the Hurricanes. The model has Florida listed as a minus 105 favorite after updating on Thursday night. And now that Sergei Bobrovsky is confirmed for the Panthers as their starting goaltender, I can justify putting a bet on them now. In fact, I could go a little harder here, but I'm going to scale down my bet size a little bit and risk just 1 unit at plus 112. But let's get into Saturday's NHL action, shall we? Because I know that's why you're all here. So anyways, here are the projections for Saturday's NHL games. Columbus Blue Jackets at Detroit Red Wings. Look, Spencer Martin started on Thursday in Dallas. The Blue Jackets jumped out to a 2-0 lead early in the game. They ended up losing 5-2. That means Elvis Merzlikins should be back between the pipes for Columbus on Saturday. Detroit hasn't been good since their hot start. They're 43.9% expected goals since October 24th. It's the 6th worst in the NHL. The Blue Jackets haven't been much better, but they're playing well enough, and they should be able to play a close game against the Red Wings. The model has the Blue Jackets plus 135, a 42.6% chance of winning. That means I can bet 1 unit on the Blue Jackets at plus 150, the current odds available at NorthStar Bet. Those are the best odds out there right now, so definitely check that out. But yeah, Blue Jackets plus 150, 1 unit bet. Of course, adjust your stake accordingly. I would not bet them down around plus 135 or plus 140. I'm probably looking for better than plus 140 here to justify a half unit play on the Blue Jackets. The Dallas Stars at Winnipeg Jets. Speaking of the Stars, we just talked about how they beat the Blue Jackets on Thursday. They're in action in Winnipeg on Saturday against the Jets. Laurent Brossoit got the win for the Jets over the Predators on Thursday, so we'll almost certainly see Connor Hellebuyck back in goal against the Stars on Saturday. Dallas isn't a team that you want to mess around with, but I don't think the Jets are getting enough respect here. Hellebuyck hasn't been great this season, but he's rested, and he's still one of the best goaltenders in hockey. I've got the Jets minus 108, 51.9% chance of winning according to the model. They're available at even money right now at NorthStar Bet. I'm locking in the Winnipeg Jets at even money plus 100 for 0.75 units. 0.75 units to win 0.75 units on the Winnipeg Jets at plus 100, even money. Next up, look, the Boston Bruins at the Montreal Canadiens used to be one of the best rivalries in the NHL. But it's been 1,467 days since the Canadiens have last beat the Bruins. Boston is 10-0 against Montreal since November 5th, 2019. But, you know, I've actually got, I'm a little bit closer here to betting on the Canadiens. I won't be, in all likelihood. But the model has the Boston Bruins minus 218 on the money line, and the Canadians are up a little bit higher than that now at plus 220. So I'm actually closer to betting on Montreal. I won't be. I don't think it's going to get there. But yeah, I would not be laying the big price on the Boston Bruins. They didn't play great against the Islanders, despite their big win on Thursday. And the big thing here, though, is that Charlie McAvoy has served his 4-game suspension, and he will be back in the lineup, or is expected to be back in the lineup on Saturday versus Montreal. The Calgary Flames at the Ottawa Senators. The Flames, they finally called up goaltender Dustin Wolf from the AHL, but there's no word on whether he will actually play this weekend in their back-to-back set. Jacob Markstrom is apparently not 100% right now. I've still got Markstrom projected to start against the Maple Leafs, but even if there is a little bit of value showing on Calgary, I'm not going to bet or lock in a bet until we know more. The Sens are a little bit healthier now that Artem Zub is back in the lineup. You could really tell that he makes a difference watching the Senators versus the Canucks on Thursday. And they showed a lot of fight versus Vancouver after falling behind 2-0 early in the first period, not even 4 minutes in, and they were down by 2 goals. But Ottawa showed a lot of fight here. So definitely something to watch going forward. The Carolina Hurricanes at the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is the second half of a back-to-back for the Hurricanes. I don't have a lot of interest here in this one. The model says the Lightning should be a small favorite. Sportsbooks have the game listed as a pick'em. Not much interest here at all. The Vancouver Canucks at the Toronto Maple Leafs. I've got a lot of interest here, and oh god, this should be a fun one, right? The Maple Leafs, they'll play their second game in 2 nights against the Canucks on Saturday, and the model says this one is a coin flip. Vancouver has been better than Toronto in just about every area so far this season. I mean, Toronto certainly doesn't have a defensive pairing that's anywhere close to as good as Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronek have been, and Vancouver's stars just in general are going right now. Joseph Woll will start for the Maple Leafs, but the Canucks, they made a smart decision to start Casey DeSmith against the Sens on Thursday. So their ace, Thatcher Demko, is fresh heading into Saturday's big game against the Leafs. And you can find right now at plus 128 on the money line, the Vancouver Canucks. And that's where I locked them in at, plus 128. They're available at another Canadian book. You can check out canadasportsbetting.ca for sportsbook reviews, of course. They are available elsewhere at plus 128. So I locked the Vancouver Canucks in for 2 units to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs at plus 128. I said I wasn't going to say anything nice about the Canucks. I said that on Twitter last night because they were really making it hard on themselves against the Senators. They weren't skating, they weren't playing, they were standing still and really just being opportunistic. So hopefully a better effort from the Canucks. I'm not going to say anything nice about them though until they win me some money on Saturday. Hopefully they do. Now, the Washington Capitals, they're playing the second half of a back-to-back on Saturday. Of course, I've got them in action tonight against the Devils on the money line, plus 165. And this will be the second game in 2 nights for Washington against the Islanders in Long Island. These two teams met on November 2nd, and some of you might remember that. I was on the Islanders. Maybe you bet them too. Former cap Simeon Varlamov posted a shutout, so no harm done, but the Islanders, they probably didn't deserve that win. Maybe we could see Varlamov again here, given the shutout and the fact that Ilya Sorokin allowed 5 goals against the Boston Bruins on Thursday. So something to watch there. But, you know, we don't know who's going to start for the Washington Capitals in their game versus the Devils. Could be Charlie Lindgren, could be Darcy Kemper. And, you know, maybe depending on how that works out, we could see the odds move around a little bit here. So while there is, it looks like some value showing on the Washington Capitals, I'm just going to ride with them against the Devils, see where things shake out there, see if there are any injuries to be concerned about after this game. Of course, in a back-to-back set, that's always something you got to realize and be cognizant of, that players can get injured, so you don't want to take too much of a risk if there's not a lot of value to be had. So I'm not going to bet on the Capitals right now for Saturday's game against the Islanders. Just a small bit of value showing, but I will consider it if the odds kind of get out of hand here heading into the weekend. So something to monitor for sure. The Buffalo Sabres at the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is the second half of a back-to-back for the Sabres. They hosted the Wild, or they will host the Wild on Friday. Lots of health concerns with the Sabres, as mentioned, and this one is a little tough to price right now. Alex Tuck He is listed as questionable. Not sure if he's going to play. Of course, Dylan Cousins still listed as day-to-day. Matthias Samuelsson still out of the lineup. So the Sabres, they're kind of banged up right now. We also don't know if Penguins goaltender Tristan Jarry will be back between the pipes for the Penguins. He's got an eye injury, and he missed Thursday's game. He's listed as day-to-day, so definitely some stuff to monitor there. The projection model has Pittsburgh as a minus 167 favorite, but like I said, this one is hard to price right now with all the uncertainty heading into it. And one team that I really don't want to talk about because they've been giving me headaches lately, but it's the Arizona Coyotes. They're in action at Nashville against the Predators, and the Coyotes they had some good showings to start the season for sure, and they still have some, but their penchant for taking penalties is hurting them a lot. Arizona has taken the third most penalties per game in the NHL to date, which is exactly where they finished in 22-23. So not much has changed with the Coyotes. It's part of their identity. They take a lot of penalties. They lost 2-1 to the Blues on Thursday, but it shouldn't have been that close. It really shouldn't have been. They were lucky. The Coyotes were lucky to be in the game with just a minute left, given that the Blues had a 7-2 power play advantage. They went 0-7 on the power play. I'm curious if Connor Ingram, former Nashville Predators goaltender and current Coyotes backup, will get the start versus his former team. Karel Vejmelka wasn't bad on Thursday by any means. He kept the Coyotes in it. But I am wondering about this one here, because if that does happen, I would wonder if the odds won't move towards the Predators, maybe creating a better opportunity to put a small bet down on the Coyotes. So I'm holding off on betting Arizona, even though there is a little bit of value showing right now. Speaking of the St. Louis Blues and their power play, they've got one goal on the power play so far this season. They're an incredible 1 for 35 on the power play in 2023-24. They were a team that scored the 8th most power play goals between 2020 and 2023. So there's definitely more talent here than is being shown on the power play, and it's only a matter of time before they start to break through. But definitely some concern there for the Blues not being able to score with the man advantage, and probably a big reason why they aren't a little bit higher in the standings right now. Colorado, they're coming off a loss to the Kraken, and frankly, the Avalanche, they look like a Jekyll and Hyde team right now. You never know what you're going to get. So I'm not all that much interested in betting on them in their current form with the current prices. And I'm actually closer to betting on St. Louis, given that they're a 2-1 underdog right now, according to most sports books. So the Edmonton Oilers, man, you see, I got my Sharks hat on, just kind of in remembrance for the 2023-24 season for the Edmonton Oilers, who pretty much we watched the Oilers die last night. It was like watching a funeral. And I mean, I couldn't look away. It was so bad. I was trying to pay attention to the Penguins and the Kings, which was a really good game. Went to overtime, 3-3. But I could not look away from the San Jose Sharks and the Edmonton Oilers. It was like a car crash. Still no word on whether Oilers head coach Jay Woodcroft still has a job or not. Maybe by now, I don't know. I'm not looking at Twitter. Maybe by now he's been fired. But as of the time of this recording, he still has a job. Also, Connor McDavid, he's definitely not 100%. It's really starting to show. He told reporters a day or two ago that he feels healthy enough to be out there, and he has to be better. But we haven't seen that yet. And McDavid, I mean, he hasn't been anywhere close to as dangerous as he is when he's healthy, and you really see that. He's not attacking the net all that much. I'm kind of tentative to get in there throughout the game. So that's a big concern for the Oilers. None of their stars are going right now. It's really just as bad as you could possibly envision it being for the Edmonton Oilers right now. And the Philadelphia Flyers at the Los Angeles Kings. They're the last game on Saturday night, the late game. The Kings, they smoked the Flyers by a score of 5-0 in Philadelphia back on November 4th. It was Calvin Peterson's first start as a member of the Flyers after being acquired in a trade with the Los Angeles Kings last season. Carter Hart, he's going to start Friday, so that means Samuel Ersson will likely start on Saturday in Los Angeles, and that's why the Kings are an even bigger favorite than you might think. They should be heading into this matchup with the Flyers. It's the second half of a back-to-back. So that pretty much does it for me today on this episode of the Puck Portfolio. I've got 3 bets for Friday, 2 of them not available anymore, but the Panthers plus 112 available at NorthStar Bet. That's a 1-unit play. Would play the Panthers for 1 unit down to plus 110. The Philadelphia Flyers, of course, plus 112 versus the Anaheim Ducks. That one is minus 110 in favor of the Flyers now. Not a good bet anymore. Same goes for the Washington Capitals, who were plus 165 on the money line, but are now plus 148 on the money line. Gotta love that line value. Let's hope it converts to some wins on Friday and Saturday. The Columbus Blue Jackets for Saturday, plus 150 against the Detroit Red Wings. They're on the road in Detroit. I think the Blue Jackets should be around plus 135, so plus 150 is a good bet for 1 unit. The Dallas Stars at the Winnipeg Jets. I've got the Jets on the money line. Even money, plus 100, 0.75 units to win. 0.75 units. And finally, my biggest play of the day, and this one you're going to have to shop around for it. It's only available at less than a handful of sports books, but the Canucks, they're available plus 128 on the money line. If you shop around the Canadian sports books, you'll probably find it, but you can get some great odds at NorthStar Bet on most of the games here that I am betting on Friday and Saturday. So check them out once again via the link in the description below. Please like this video if you have not already. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I mean, set up another account and subscribe too if you want. That'll help. But I really appreciate it, you guys tuning in every day. I will talk to you throughout the weekend on Twitter, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I know a lot can change. My DMs are open, and you can reach out anytime. If I'm around, I will answer you and get back to you as quickly as possible at Digital Gambler. But yeah, thanks for joining me. This was a really fun show. I feel like we've been really hitting our stride here in terms of breaking things down on a day-to-day basis, and hopefully that you guys are learning something. Look, even if you're not tailing my picks on a daily basis, I know you can learn something here watching this show, because it's just it's been a really fun process to go through and kind of let you guys in on my handicapping process each and every day. And I hope that's helping you with your handicapping process. So big show today. Really excited to get into the weekend. Lots of hockey. I hope you guys win some bets. Good luck. I'll see you on Monday.